Hello, everyone. This is the Jose Aliaga Show. And today I have my special guest, Troy Coffin. And we're going to, first of all, how you doing, Troy?
Hey, I'm doing great. I thank you very much for having me on your show, Jose. And I just want to congratulate you on your victory in your primary for Independence Township Supervisor. I went out and got to see you knock doors. I got to see you put up yard signs. I got to see all the hard work you put in, and I am just so proud that you won. And I think that the people of Clarks and the people of Independence Township are very lucky to have you. And so I just want to congratulate you.
Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, my friend. It means a lot to me. Thank
Absolutely.
you. And we did work really hard, and we are planning to do a great things for Independence Township and from the Clarkston area.
And your team did amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. But Troy, thank you to be here on my show. And, you know,
Absolutely.
this is a really exciting topic. It's about what the liberal media promotes. They believe that the
Absolutely.
Republican Party is only for white people, that the Republican Party doesn't care about minorities. And that's totally true. Through history, the Republican Party are the one who actually, Abraham Lincoln, the first president of
Free
the
the slaves.
yeah, he freed the slave. And then, give the right to vote, the right to vote for everyone and all that. But there have been, people have been changing it and adding and all that and making a lot of lies about that. But anyways, so I want to ask you, what do you think happened in Michigan? Because lately in this primary in 2022, we have a lot of minorities, Republicans, they won the primary. So can you tell us
Absolutely.
about that?
Absolutely. And two of the three big three races are female nominees, and one being an African American woman. You have Tudor Dixon is your official nominee for Michigan governor, and you have Christina Caramo is your official nominee for Secretary of State. And Christina Caramo is someone I know very well. She's a very dear friend of mine. And, I think people have always had this attitude that, like you said, the Republican Party is for the white guy, but that narrative's kind of subsiding. And unfortunately, when minorities enter into these races, they kind of take a lot of fire because, I read an article the other day saying Christina Cromwell might be the dangerous candidate in this election cycle. And I just have to ask myself, why? Why is Christina Cromwell the most dangerous candidate in this election cycle? And then, when you look even further for in the state of Michigan for Congress, the Democrats didn't elect one single African American, and the Republicans have three, and three respective House seats where the Republican nominee is an African American, and Mr. John Gibbs in District 3, Mr. John James in District 10, and Mr. Martel Bivings in, I believe that's District 13. And I know even down the line, Dr. Linda Lee Tarver, who's running for Michigan State of Michigan Board of Education, and I believe she will do a tremendous job. She's another person I've come to know very well over the last few years, and I really do believe in the diversity. Now, that's not to say that I necessarily, I believe that people are to be judged by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin. And I believe that people are to be judged based on their personal merits. But these are people who are very well qualified, in addition to also, being a part of them, those minorities. Just like yourself, I believe you're very qualified, and that's why I was a staunch supporter of you when you decided to run for Independence Township Supervisor. And unless I'm mistaken, I believe you're the only Hispanic independent or Hispanic supervisor in the entire country. Is that true?
Immigrant, yes.
Immigrant, correct.
Immigrant, and yes.
Congratulations on that, because
Thank you.
it's not easy to come from a whole other country and then jump into another country's political system, but you've perfected it very well, and people are very proud to support you as the primary show this past August. And so yet again, I just want to congratulate you for that.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you. And just to add something to what you just said, you see, Marco Rubio is the
Mhm.
grandson of a Cuban immigrant. Well, is the son of a Cuban immigrant. Ted Cruz, too. Ted Cruz's dad is from Cuba. So he's the son of an immigrant, but he's Hispanic senator. In my case, I'm the immigrant. I'm also Hispanic Latino, but immigrant, being elected supervisor. That's absolutely right. And I'm Republican since I was a little kid. A big fan of Ronald Reagan, Abraham Lincoln, and President Trump.
Yeah, and it's very important that the very first immigrant for township supervisor in the country be a Republican.
Yeah, well, the liberal media didn't promote it at all, but I have a lot of
Of course
interviews
not.
in the countries. Of course, they won't do that for sure. But about those races, what do you think about John James? Do you think John James have a chance? What do you think about his race?
Yeah, so I think John James has a very good chance. I think, John James has such high name recognition because he ran for United States Senator in 2018 and did better than a lot of the pollsters had suggested. He lost by 6 points to Senator Stabenow. And then he did he built off that, and in 2020 he ran for U.S. Senate again, and I believe the margin was like 150,000 votes different, and that's if you truly believe what that the numbers were accurate. We all saw the trucks rolling at 3 a.m. at the TCF building, so you don't know if it's accurate or not. But John James did very well in 2020, and so I foresee that he'll do very well again this time. I do know that he doesn't live in the district, so that might be a little bit of a problem. I do know I have been told he's looking for a house in the area, but I really do believe that John James is going to pull out a big victory in November, and I wish him all the best
Actually, for U.S. House,
for
you don't
U.S. House. Yeah.
you don't need to live in the district, but you need to live in the state.
Correct. You don't actually have to live in the district.
Right.
And it's just like Representative Salatkin, with the redistricting, a lot of people are shifting over to a different area. And, this used to be where we live, used to be Michigan's 8th congressional district, and now it's Michigan's 9th congressional district. And now it's slated as a Republican plus 34 district, and so that's when you saw Slotkin jump to Lansing. So yes, you don't have to live in the district; you just have to live in the state.
Now, Gibbs, he won on the west side, Grand Rapids area. I think he have other chance, right? Because it's more conservative. It has been conservative since Big Hoekstra and so forth, right? I mean, I don't see.
Absolutely, and a lot of people have doubted him, said that Peter Myers got the better chance. I really do believe that John Gibbs has a good chance. In fact, I don't know Mr. Gibbs personally, but I sent him a message right before the primary telling him, don't take anything for granted, full steam ahead, focus on your race, and just keep pushing through. And he actually thanked me for it. And like I said, I don't know him very well. I don't personally know him. I just know I've watched that race very closely, however. And Dr. Ben Carson has been a staunch advocate. He's been promoting, did video promotions for John Gibbs. And, Dr. Ben Carson is an outstanding man, and he's someone I have a tremendous amount of respect for Dr. Ben Carson. So his support to me goes a long way. And I don't think Ben Carson would be supporting Gibbs so strongly if he didn't think, highly of Mr. Gibbs. And I also believe in Mr. Gibbs' background. He went to he went to Stanford, he went to Harvard. He's got very good credentials. He studied abroad. I mean, the guy is a solid dude. He worked under Dr. Ben Carson in the housing and urban development. In fact, had President Trump won a second term, he was going to be appointed to an even higher position. And so I really do believe that John Gibbs has the credentials to pull out a big victory in November. He's just going to have to work very hard. He's going to have to knock the doors. He's going to have to send out the literature, the mailers, do the yard signs. But I do believe in his chances, and I do think he'll pull out of it. I do think he'll surprise a lot of people, and I think he'll pull out a victory in November.
Good to hear. Now, you mentioned about Linda Lee Taber. You see, the Democrats have been controlling the Michigan School Board.
Mm-hmm.
And it's becoming a really hot topic right now across the state. Now the Republican Party are putting more emphasis in school board districts because it has been controlled by Democrats, even in Republican conservative districts like Independence Township and others. But the state has been also controlled by the Democrats, and they implemented some liberal policies that most conservatives don't agree that are beneficial for their kids. What do you think is Linda Lee Taber What do you think are the possibilities to win on this election? Do you think Tucson Tudor is gonna carry on every single Republican across the state of Michigan, or you think maybe it's gonna be individual race where she depends on her own campaign? What do you think?
Well, State Board of Education, those races aren't as highly funded. And let's remind everyone that in order to have an even vote on this Secretary of State to make it 4 Republican, 4 Democrat leaning, we'd have to have Dr. Linda Lee Tarver and Tammy Carlone. Both Tammy Carlone and Linda Lee Tarver need our support in November. They're both tremendous women. I know both of them very well, and I think both of them have a good chance. I think that the two of them need to stick together. From what I do understand, is they do combine events, and they're both very, very active. I know Tammy Carlone she's a she's one of the vice chairs of the Michigan Republican Party. I believe it's the coalition's vice chair, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly. But yes, I do think the two of them have a very good chance at winning. They just, Tammy Carlone has run in the past, so she's got name recognition, whereas Linda Lee Tarver is a very hard worker. And I think you'll start to see a lot about the two of them in the coming weeks. And I think they're going to pull out victories.
Good. Well, thank you, Troy. I appreciate that your time, and you always bring me great comments and good points. And hopefully, we see a change on November. I think we have strong, good candidates. We have great candidates on this primary. Glad to see some rhinos goodbye, and then good to welcome new, strong conservative. There's going to be a new face. They're going to be fighting for us, and that's what we're looking for. A lot of people across Michigan, across the United States, want to change and want the Republicans get back in Washington, in Lansing, and make those changes and policies to make our economy more healthy again, and bring America back,
Yeah, and I'll be very happy when, come election time, when John James and Mrs. Lisa McLean both win their congressional races, because that'll mean that Southeast Michigan's controlled by Republicans, and that'll be a good time, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Troy. Thank you again. I'm looking forward to see you at the next show, the Jose Aliaga Show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.